Hello and welcome to another episode of Spoiler Appetite. I'm Tristan. Alrighty. So you guys know the deal. New episode means I get to talk about old news. So yeah, we're all busy, so that's always fun. Life gets in the way and sometimes I just can't record a podcast. And then when I want to record a podcast, I just don't. I always get myself distracted. What's been going on? The same as usual. What's new? Well, the CW shows are back. Well, as of now, Arrow hasn't come back. At least not till Monday. So yeah. So far, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it at all. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of the things that's new. Yeah, not looking forward to it, but I will say I am excited that Black Lightning and Supernatural is back, because last year those were the two highlights of the shows that I was watching. Well, at least on the CW, that is. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Alrighty, so starting off with some sad news. So, last month, September 7th. Yeah, last month. God, I can't believe it's been a month. September 7th, one of my favorite artists, who I would say I recently got into 5 years ago. The great Mac Miller overdosed on drugs and whatnot. It's just it's crazy. If anyone's if you listen to his music, he talks about his drug addiction and all his ups and downs. But I don't want to talk about the overdose or whatever. But it's mind blowing that Mac Miller is gone. And I remember when I was first introduced to Mac Miller, that this was, I want to say 2013. I want to say the end of the month of the end of the year of 2013, maybe early 2014. I'm not sure, but I remember on the phone with a friend. He was on the podcast, Anthony. I was on the phone with Anthony, and we were at the time FaceTiming, and I was on my computer. We were talking, and, Anthony says, put on some Mac Miller. And I was like, okay, what song should I even put on? And if I remember correctly, it was either a song from Watching Movies Without the Sound, or it was from Blue Side Park. But, yeah, and we listened to Mac Miller, and I was really feeling the vibe he was giving. And his music was always great. Like, never once did I feel his music was ever the not good. I think for me personally, my favorite album, well, it's a tie between Faces, which is a mixtape. That was before he got signed on by Warner Brothers, Warner Music, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Faces. And I remember when Faces was coming out, you had to make Mac a sandwich. You basically went on this link, and you click on the link, and you just make a pretend sandwich, and then once you send it, you got an email, and you would have the Faces mixtape. And I think that was my favorite album of his ever. And then his most recent album, Swimming, which came out in late August, and it's weird because after I heard the news that Mac died, I've been listening to Swimming over and over repeatedly, and was just it's weird. It's just the song I listen to the most on that album is Self-Care, and yeah, it's hard. It's just unbelievable that Mac is gone, but you know what? He left a great deal of music, whether it was mixtapes or studio albums. He left some good music behind, and you know, I'll admit it. I've never been to a concert, and I really, like, deep down, I kind of wished I had gone and seen a Mac Miller concert, but now that he's gone, I'll never get that chance, and I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me, and it's just a bummer. That's what it is. It's just like I can't get over the fact that he is gone, and I just and I gotta say this to get topical. I mean, I've seen when he passed away, there was all this hate towards Ariana Grande, and I gotta say, you can't blame her. Don't be mad at her. She's not the reason why. I don't believe for a second she was the reason why Mac overdosed. He's like it because if you're a true Mac Miller fan and you listen to his music, he's always had the drug addiction problem. And even she said it best, like she couldn't help him. And that beautiful tribute to him, just pouring out saying, "I'm sorry I couldn't take the pain away from you," was a really great tribute. And I don't blame Ariana Grande. Like, pain, somebody once said, pain makes us, changes us just a little bit. Pain brings suffering, and, it's never fun when we lose somebody, and it's not a good feeling, and sometimes the pain will get so bad that we lash out at others, even if it's over the littlest things ever. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Mac Miller gone, and God, I don't know what to say. Like, I feel bad. Horrible. It's just like, there was a line in, what was it? Brand Name, the song Brand Name, and he drops a line that says, he hopes he doesn't join this 27 Club, and it's horrible. He went a year early, and I just can't believe we're not going to get any more Mac Miller music. And what I would love for to happen, I would love for Spotify or Warner Studios to release a compilation of all of Mac Miller's hits, from Best Day Ever to Swimming, or all of the mixtapes he's ever made, and just put it on Spotify, or just release them in, like, greatest, you get the Best Day Ever album, and then you just release them all individually, and hopefully Spotify has them as well, because even his older stuff is great too. Like, for a while, when I first got into Mac, I couldn't stop listening to his kids mixtape. I remember listening to Outside so many times. Knock Knock is a great one. Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. I mean, that was the shape of, like, anytime I listen to kids, it's that album, it's those songs that have that, it takes you back to a time where, you could just picture yourself where you were at that moment when you were first introduced to those songs. And for me, it was, I just feel, I'm 22, and it just made me feel like a teen again. Even though I miss it, and it's just like I always just bump into Mac Miller and all that great music, and I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna miss Mac. I'm sure all of us are gonna miss Mac, and it's not fair that he left us so soon. But it's horrible, and I'm just gonna miss him. I remember when I first woke up, I got a message from a friend, saying if I was alright, and I was like, yeah, I'm alright. She was like, yeah, I was just wondering, if you saw the music about Mac Miller died. And I was like, what? Go on Twitter, and right then and there, I was just crushed, and I was like, no. And I immediately, the moment I read it, I texted Anthony saying, dude, how are you feeling? Because I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but Anthony was and still is a big Mac Miller fan, and we were just messaging each other, and he was like, man, the legend is gone. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe it either. And he was so bummed out. We were all bummed out. And I mean, to the people his swimming tour hadn't even begun, and goddamn, we lost a good one. So to Mac Miller, I mean, I thought, I just want to give a few moments of silence for the great Mac Miller. Gone, but never forgotten, and has left behind a lot of great music. Alrighty. So, yeah. Alrighty. So that happened. What shall I talk about? I got a list here, because, if you can't tell, sometimes when I'm recording, I have to look at my list, and I got a bunch of things. I think the first thing I should talk about is Iron Fist Season 2. Iron Fist Season 2, I'm not there. I'm almost done. I think I have like 3 episodes left, but so the news hit today saying Netflix has canceled Iron Fist, which, to that, I say, I'm not bummed. It sucks that people have lost their jobs, but, there is possible hope that the Disney streaming service will pick up Iron Fist whenever it debuts in late 2019. Yeah. Okay, so I've talked about how much I've hated Iron Fist Season 1. So I'm finally now catching up on Iron Fist Season 2, and I gotta say, it's definitely an improvement. It's not as great as, say, your Punisher or your Daredevil or Luke Cage. Like, it doesn't have the entertainment, for me at least. It doesn't have that excitement for me, but it's definitely it's way more better. Like, he's using the fist more. The acting, and I mean, it's the same. It's pretty good. It's well written, that's for sure. They very much write Danny Rand just a bit better, and the storyline is pretty simple and good. Yeah, it's okay, but yeah, them canceling Iron Fist, I'm just like, well, one less show to worry about, even though I didn't have to watch Season 2 of Iron Fist, but I did, and I don't know if I'll finish it, but I'm pretty sure I will finish it. Probably won't talk about it in the next episode, but anyways, I'm just waiting for Daredevil. And speaking of Daredevil, oh my god, I cannot wait. I mean, it feels like it's been 2 years since we got Daredevil. it's so crazy. It feels like we've been waiting forever for it to come out. But yeah, I'm excited for Daredevil Season 3. He's going back to the traditional black costume, and I am hella excited to see that, because I'll be honest, I always loved the black suit more so than the red suit. I don't know. The red suit's great, but the black suit I always was fond of. It's something new and something great about it. It's great, and it's so simple to cosplay as well. But yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk is back, and he's got the traditional white jacket on, and I'm calling it now. There's gonna be blood on that white jacket. I'm just calling it now. And then there's Bullseye, and he's dressed up as Daredevil, as the imposter, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. So yeah, Daredevil. I'm definitely hella excited for Daredevil. Alrighty. Staying on things Marvel. So Spider-Man, Insomniac's Spider-Man. I'm sure you guys have played it, possibly beaten it. I beaten it. I beat the main story in 3 days. I mean, let me tell you. So here's the story. I didn't have a PS4 until Spider-Man came out. What happened was, went over to a friend's house because he'd gotten it like the day before, because they had a little midnight premiere, get your copy or whatever. And so go over to his house in the morning, and he puts it in, and he starts playing it. I didn't play it myself, but I was more of just a watcher, and I was like, damn, this is so good looking and all this business. And I think it was until 15 minutes into the game, he's like, yeah, I gotta go to sleep. He's like, dude, you gotta get this game. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. So me and him drive up to GameStop. I buy a PS4, and that's the weird thing. They offered me to get Spider-Man, but I was like, no, I'm good. They offered me the deluxe, and I was like, no, I'm good. Sure enough, I come home, I pass out, I sleep, wake up, and this was the day of Mac Miller's death, so I had to take a moment for myself and just, build myself up. But after I was okay, I hooked up my PS4, got Spider-Man, and let me tell you, I gotta say, so I have 2 monitors on my desktop, and before I got a PS4, I used it for my computer. So one screen is for YouTube or stuff like that, and then the other screen is for like recording a podcast or something, or playing games. So here I am setting up my PS4, and let me tell y'all, for an hour and 24 minutes, I came to the conclusion that my monitors don't have speakers on them. So what I had to do was unplug. I could plug in my headphones to the controller, or I could plug in the speaker jack to the controller. And oh my god, I was spending an hour and 24 minutes trying to figure it all out. And let me tell you, for anyone who's listening that knew me in high school and that would always ask for my paper for like math, because I was good with numbers and stuff, because I loved math. I always hated the graphs, but for anyone that's listening, I'm not all that smart, because it took me an hour and 24 minutes to realize that, oh shit, these computers don't have speakers or anything. So after I got that done, I bought the deluxe edition for Spider-Man, which comes with all the DLC, and yeah, that was fun. But once I started playing the game, my god, it's great. It's such a great game. It's a big open world. It's obviously it's bigger than Arkham Knight, because this game has been worked on since, they said 4 years, and just the level of details and all this, and the combat is great. I love every minute of it, and the story is very great. It's really great. It's got the heart of, it's oh my god, what it's very much a Peter Parker story as much as it is a Spider-Man story, and just the different things that they do. I mean, like Dr. Otto Octavius, you slowly see him, become who he's supposed to be from the comics, and it's just a great game. It really is. The combat is great. You could web swing for days. Like nowadays, now that I beat everything on Spider-Man, I'm just waiting for the DLC, and all I do now is web swing, and it's so much fun. I haven't played a Spider-Man game since Web of Shadows, and I didn't even finish Web of Shadows either, but that was the last Spider-Man game I played. But as far as like playing a Spider-Man game through as a whole, I would say Spider-Man 3 was the last game I played through the whole thing, and it very much, this PS4 Spider-Man game, very much like most of us can relate, that it very much feels like Spider-Man 2. And yeah, I love every minute of it. I love the suits, the gadgets. I don't use the perks or whatever they're called, the little power-ups. I don't use them as much. But the gadgets are great. I could just, web swing for days, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. The story is great. I really loved it. It's very personal. It's very much a personal story, and a lot of things happen. And man, it's a great game. I would highly recommend it. That's for sure. I mean, if you don't have a PS4 and want to get Spider-Man, if you have the money, I would say do it now. Like, if you have some stuff in your savings, take some of that stuff out of your savings and just get the PS4 and get it. Just get it. And I'm looking forward to the next game. I mean, obviously there's going to be a next game, right? So just some little things that they tease is going to be great. I just hope that they take their time with it. I hope it's what Rocksteady did with Batman Arkham City. Like, to this day, it's funny, I got all the Arkham games for a great deal on the PS4, and just replaying those games, specifically Arkham City, it's just like, man, this is how you do a sequel. This is how you do your second game. You take everything that was great about the first game, you build it up, you expand it, and all that business. So I hope with the second Spider-Man game, they take their time, build upon what made that first game great. Like, new combat, better story than your predecessor was. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and just the things that they set up in the game for the next game, it's going to be great, and I can't wait. Let's talk about some DC stuff. Now, one thing that really sticks out to my mind is on this list, let's go with the first look of Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. Now, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but I am not looking forward to this Joker movie at all. There's a good chance I probably won't see it, just because of the fact that it's an origin movie, and I'm not doing a Joker origin movie. Like, I can't. Like, I understand that us comic book nerds are going to have to look at this as an Elseworld kind of thing, because it basically is. And I'm sure this will be the case, but this will be a one and done kind of thing. So the first look of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. You know, it's different, and okay, I'm sure I've said this before, but just to recap, when it comes to the genre of comic book movies, I am all for trying something new. Trying something new with the genre, like whether it's mixing things, like mixing the genre, mixing another genre with comic book movies, great. You know, the look of the characters, I don't care if it's not. The only thing I care about is, can you capture the character itself? Did the writer capture the character that I read from the comics? That's all I care about. Like, I don't care if, Wolverine doesn't have his yellow spandex suit with the mask and whatnot. I don't care. But if you do it, I'm all here for it. As long as it looks good, I'm all here for it. I don't care that, whatchamacallit, just looking at those first X-Men movies, they're not in yellow suits, but later down the road, Matthew Vaughn shows that you can actually do it. And, X-Men, Dark Phoenix, they have yellow in their suits, which looks great. I mean, it is kind of weird that they didn't stick with the suits from X-Men Apocalypse, because it was pretty on point, especially with the look of Cyclops. I mean, but you know what? But I'll be honest, I like the suits and Dark Phoenix than the last minute that they were in their suits in Apocalypse. Sorry, but it's just me, whatever. But yeah, so this Joaquin Phoenix first look as Joker. I will say this: the little video they posted with the song, and it's just flashes of him in the Joker makeup. I really dug that video, and then you get that last shot of him as the Joker, and it's new. It's something new. Doesn't really bother me, but I think what bothers me the most is, so what? This is our... Oh man, okay, so as far as modern day goes, this is the second Joker we've had. Well, this is okay, what I'm trying to get at is basically, look, it's just the look, and, it's whatever. I'm not really a fan of it. It's definitely got that Heath Ledger vibe to it, and there's that great meme out there that's like, when you're player 2 and you pick the same character as player 1 and whatnot, the little alternative suit. It's very good, accurate description. But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that, for once, I would love to see a Joker in a movie that looks like the Joker from the comics. I mean, get rid of the tattoos on Jared Leto, and he looks like the Joker, minus the grills and whatnot. He needs to button up his shirt and all that business. He looks like the Joker. He looks almost like the Joker. I think the most accurate look of the Joker we've gotten is Jack Nicholson's Joker. But yeah, I don't know. And I guess, the reason why they went with that look is because of the tone and the era it's set in, which is apparently the 80s, which is like, okay. But I would love to see the Joker look like from the comics. And I am not that guy either. Like, I'm not that guy. Because generally, I understand that they're going to adapt, they're going to try something new, and may not look like from the comics, but it'll definitely feel like, yeah, this is what he would wear. It looks like that character and blah, blah, blah. But Joaquin Phoenix, the first look of the Joker, I'm not a fan of it. I'm tired of, just look, just I don't know. I don't know why they would choose this look, but again, it's probably because of the tone and the era it's set in. But for me, it's a no, and but who knows? Maybe later on in the movie, he'll have that traditional look. But yeah, I don't, and that's the thing. The set photos and the set videos, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, it's intriguing. It's got my interest just a little bit, but the fact that it's an origin story really turns me off. And I don't know. And it's funny. I want to correct those who clearly don't know their history, that everyone, I'll see comments saying, oh, it's like the Killing Joke because he was because in the book he was a clown. Okay, first of all, no, he wasn't. He wasn't a clown in the Killing Joke. He was a failed stand-up comedian. I don't know where people got the idea that he was a clown for a living, but he was never an actual clown in the comics. He was never an actual clown. He was a failed comedian whose life went to shit, and then, as he said in the Killing Joke, he just had one bad day. So, yeah, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, this Joker movie, I still can't believe this is a thing, and I don't get the hype. I really don't understand the hype. It's Joaquin Phoenix, and he's playing the Joker. You're nuts if you think, you're nuts if you don't think this is going to be a good movie. I'm sorry, but, here's the thing. It's a Joker origin movie. That's what's really holding me back. Like, if this was a Joaquin Joker movie where, it's basically him planning his move against Batman or whoever, wouldn't it be more interesting if this was a Joker movie, if it was, him going, like, what does it look like for a person to, someone like the Joker to plan out his next crime? Like, wouldn't it be interesting to see him just, intimidate others to get on board and get him, the materials he needs and whatnot? And wouldn't it be amazing if, at the end of my idea movie, which is kind of crazy, but I feel like it could happen in the future, because Warner Brothers wants to, go back to the way it was, just try something new, something that's never been done before. But imagine at the end of this Joker movie that I'm, pitching, can you imagine at the end of the movie, Joker is stopped and the camera is behind Batman and Joker, but it's more focused on the Joker, who's detained in handcuffs. He's on the ground, he's on his knees, and you see, the cape of Batman flowing, but you're just focused on the Joker the camera is behind the Joker, just focused on him, and GCPD cops are coming towards them, and then the last shot you see is a face on, the camera is on the Joker, and he just smiles. Like, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be, it could be the, what's the writer's name? The Asperletto Joker graphic novel, the graphic novel Joker. Because that's, granted, it's from a different perspective. It's a different perspective from one of his henchmen, his new henchman, and is going day to day. And wouldn't it be interesting if they went with that angle, basically taking the idea that, what's it like for the Joker to plan out his next crime? I think that would be more interesting than a Joker origin movie. I don't see the appeal for it. I really don't, because Joker is one of those characters that doesn't really have an origin. You do get an origin in the Killing Joke, but it's just a snippet. It's at the very, very last, last bit before he becomes the actual Joker. You don't know his family. You don't know what kind of household he grew up in. You just know that he's a failed comedian who's trying to pay rent, and, he's got a baby on the way. And then it goes all to shit. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe this movie will surprise me. I don't know. I don't know if I'll see it. But chances are I'll probably see it. But I really don't want to because it's an origin movie and I can't. I just don't like the idea. Like, I find it's going to be, I think maybe that first trailer, when we get first trailer, it'll convince me. But for now, it's just like, no one can convince me to get excited for this movie. You know, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor, don't get me wrong, but I cannot get excited because it's an origin Joker movie. I just don't understand it. And it is kind of weird, like, I'm in that situation where it's just like, okay, they're doing a Joker movie without Batman, but there's Thomas Wayne. Like, okay, I mean, maybe this Joker is going to have a girlfriend and their kid will be the actual Joker from the comics, I guess, but I don't know. That's just a theory. I'm pretty sure that won't happen, but whatever. I'm just theorizing. It don't matter. I mean, there's my Avengers 4 theory. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so enough about that. I mean, I don't see it. Alrighty, stay on top of DC news. So, Henry Cavill is out as Superman. You know, it's, I am fully convinced. I'm now on the side that what others are saying that Warner Brothers just doesn't like Superman at all. And yeah, if the reports are to be true, they wanted him as a cameo in Shazam, but he couldn't do it because he was shooting Mission Impossible. Or maybe there was something else. Maybe there was something like, that, he would do the cameo, because it's just like, what, day in, day out, and that's it. He would do the cameo, but you give him a Man of Steel movie. And from what I understand, from what I remember from the article, they don't have any plans for a Superman movie in the next 5 years, which is like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, I don't understand what they're thinking, but okay, I don't understand why 5 years is a thing, like, oh my god. But yeah, but now that, and when the news came out, Henry Cavill posted this really, this video that was basically, you've seen it. It was just weird. It was weird. It was just like, what does he mean? Does he mean he's out? Oh, that's probably what it was. Okay, so he holds up the toy of, a Man of Steel toy. He's in, and then he slowly pulls it back down, and now he's out. Maybe that's it. So, yeah, I've said this on the show, on the podcast, that I love Man of Steel. It's my favorite DC movie. I don't care what anyone says. And I have a lot of love for that movie. And that movie was the first comic book movie of 17 years of living, of all the comic book movies I've seen. That was the movie that made me want to start collecting comics. And now that he's out as Superman, it's just like, what the fuck? You got Henry Cavill, for God's sakes. Like, he is just, first of all, that man is just like fucking beautiful as hell. It's not fucking fair that he's just that good looking. But you just look at the dude and he's like, yeah, that's Superman. He's got that Superman look. And now that he's gone, now that he's out, it's fucking bizarre. It's just like, as if I didn't have enough hope for this DC cinematic universe. Their plan, or whatever their plan is. The fact that they lost Henry Cavill, I'm so done with this shit. Like, I can't even process it, honestly. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm more upset about this than the Ben Affleck as Batman thing, because Henry Cavill he just nails it. He nails it as Superman in my eyes. He had a growth, and then he became the Superman everybody wants to see, that bright, hopeful character in whatchamacallit, in Justice League. He was that character everybody was looking for, that bright and hopeful character. So yeah, now that he's gone, it's just like, you're not gonna give us a Man of Steel now that I'm sure fans and critics are on the side that, yeah, he's finally the Superman we all want to see. But you'll do a Supergirl movie? Look, I mean, you want to do a Supergirl movie? Great. But how about your big blue? Like, your big Superman? Like, give Superman a movie too. Like, I don't understand okay, you'll give Supergirl a movie, but you won't give Henry Cavill as Superman a movie? I don't understand that logic. I don't understand. I don't get it. What's the problem? I mean, I don't fucking know. I really don't know. But you know what? In all honesty, as mad as hell as I am about this news, I'm kind of happy for Henry Cavill. I'm happy for him. He doesn't need this role as Superman, because he's a great actor. I mean, hell, I went and saw Mission Impossible because of him, and he's fucking great. And The Man from U.N.C.L.E., he's fucking great in it. He's charming as hell. Like, he can carry a movie on his own, even if it's not Superman. Yeah, you know what? He deserves better. He deserves better than what he's given as the character of Superman. And you could tell he loves being Superman. But the fact that they're not going to give him a movie, you know what? Fine. Just let him go. And it's bizarre too, because Warner Brothers was like, yeah, they didn't comment on it. They didn't say they officially let him go, but they have a good relationship or whatever. And it's just like, if he is out, good for Henry Cavill, because he does not need that. He doesn't need that, because he doesn't need to wait on a Superman movie to happen, because it truly feels like nowadays Warner Bros. Just doesn't want to do a Superman movie. Maybe it's for the best. We've had a lot of Batman movies and a lot of Superman movies, but as far as modern day goes, we haven't had a lot of Superman movies. But you know what? We had enough. But like I said, we have had enough movies of the two Titans and whatnot. And maybe it is a good idea to give these other characters who haven't had a movie, like your Aquaman, your Shazam, or your Wonder Woman. Still blows my mind that we never got a Wonder Woman before 2017's Wonder Woman. It still blows my mind. But yeah, maybe it is for the better. I don't know. Like, maybe it is a good idea to, let us wait for a new Batman and Superman movie. Maybe it is for the best. But the fact that Henry Cavill possibly isn't going to be playing Superman anymore. Alright, whatever you say. Alright, so the DC streaming service, you guys have it? Whatnot? I mean, I know it just came out last month, but I got it. And I gotta say, I totally missed the news that you could either do it monthly or you can do it yearly. So, obviously, I did it yearly. And so far, I'm pretty sure I talked about the DC streaming service. It's pretty good. It's pretty average. It has a lot of titles and the comics. Like, honestly, I'll be honest, I got it because of the comic side of it. I mean, I've seen most of the movies and the TV shows, the animated stuff. I've seen most of it. So it really captured... So I was more into the comics. It's got a lot of titles, but most of the titles have like one issue, and that's about it. But yeah, the DC streaming service, it'll get there. It'll get there. I think the comics side of things is going to be the great deal of it. And then there's DC Daily, which I'll be honest, I went over to DC Daily and I was just like, yeah, there's no way I could watch this daily. Like, there's no way. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to watch DC Daily, but it's too much. It's a lot too much. I mean, I've watched 2 episodes of DC Daily, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great hosts, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody's enthusiastic about the DC comics and all that. So that's always fun. And the first thing I watched, at least on the DC streaming service, was The Death of Superman, the newest Death of Superman anime movie, which, little mini review. Well, for those who have heard, I'm not a fan of the Death of Superman comic. It's just mainly action, and I get it. Doomsday is a killing monster machine, and doesn't really need that much story. And this movie is just, I like what they were going for. I liked what they were doing, but I don't know. And it's part of this new. It's not like they didn't give the Dark Knight Returns kind of deal, where the Dark Knight Returns is not part of a animated universe. Whereas with the Death of Superman, it is part of an animated series of movies, animated cinematic universe, or whatever. And I'm in the middle when it comes to this new animated movie universe. I guess that's what we'll call it. But that's about it. And I don't know. Like I said, you're talking to someone who didn't like the Death of Superman. And so it's very much like about Clark, and in the movie, it's basically him coming out to Lois Lane that he's Superman. And it was okay. Like, if I remember correctly, we never really saw Lois and Clark ever meeting and talking and working with each other in the other movies. This was like really the first time you saw that in this movie, which is like, okay, it's there, but it doesn't really have that emotional, doesn't have the emotional response that I think most of us would have gotten. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't see how anyone can get emotional when Superman does die at the end of this movie. Because you don't have that emotional, you don't have that connection. Like, beforehand, it was a bunch of Batman movies, and it still kind of is a bunch of Batman movies. And yeah, whatever. But yeah, as far as the movie goes, I mean, it's like the other rest of the new animated the new animated universe of DC movies, which is like, okay, yeah, that happened. I mean, I don't know if it would have been for the best if it was just like, if they got the Dark Knight Returns treatment where it's a standalone before, it's its own thing, it's its own universe, and all that business. I don't think it would have been as good either, unless you love the comic, then maybe it would be great. But yeah, I'm kind of curious as to those who actually love the Death of Superman storyline, what they thought about this movie. Because for me, I'm just like, it's pretty much kind of is like the comic, just a few changes. And I will say, I kind of was hoping for, I think the best part, even though I don't like the Death of Superman comic line, I think the best part in the comic was where they're going at it, they're on the street, and they're just like one fist to another, just going, and they both hit each other with one last punch, and they both fall. In the movie, didn't really happen. It's more Superman flies at Doomsday and, hits, fly punches him and breaks Doomsday's neck. And then he just passes out. And it's just like, it would have been cool if they actually went with the comic version where, like I said, they throw one last punch at each other and they both fall. But that's just me. But anyways, the DC streaming service, it just came out. It'll be good. I think they have a lot to improve on. Judging from all those issues they got, all the titles, they have a lot of titles. Let me tell you, they have a lot of titles, but not many issues in those titles. Most of them have like one issue, then others will have like 30 and all this business. But you know what? It's probably for beginners. It's probably for not the hardcore nerds yet. I mean, there is stuff for the hardcore nerds, but as far as the comics go, there's not much you can go off of on the comic side. I think that's just for beginners and want to read these classic stories. So yeah, DC streaming service is great. And Titans did premiere. Titans did premiere on, what was it? If this is today's Sunday, so it premiered on Friday. They're doing this weekly with Titans. They're releasing an episode every Friday. And the first episode, I gotta say, it's definitely for a mature audience. It definitely is. What did I think? It's fine. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, judging from that first trailer. First things first, Robin doesn't kill, but he is brutal as hell. But I think he does kill. I can't remember. I'll have to freaking watch that first episode again. But I do remember him stabbing somebody in the neck. I mean, alright. But yeah, he is like, the best way I can describe it is, he's like Ben Affleck, Batman, brutal. Like at one point, little spoilers, he breaks a car window, grabs the guy by the head, and scrapes his face on it. And it's just, brutal. But in the context, it makes sense. It makes sense why he's so brutal in this one fight scene. It makes sense. I won't say what it is, but I might as well, because I know many people probably won't watch it. So he's Dick Grayson is a detective, and when we first see him, he's in a car looking at this file, and there's a picture of a little girl with a bruise on her face. And you see the dad who's walking out of the bar, and I thought it was very interesting that he's got his Robin suit. He's got this suitcase, and he looks at it, and you can just kind of feel that he's very conflicted on putting on the suit. But then he finally has to come out and puts on the suit. And the action is pretty good. It's pretty good. And I gotta say, I think visually, the money was well spent. I don't know how much they spent on this show, but it looks pretty good. I dig it. I dig it. I mean, you definitely... Okay, the fuck Batman line is very... I don't know. I don't think it was needed, because it does come out of nowhere. So, he says fuck Batman after this fight scene. The fight scene was like 2 minutes long. And he just says it out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, that made sense. Not really, but okay. But whatever. But you do get that sense that he's trying to get away from Bruce Wayne. And this whole news thing about, Batman kills, and it's just like, okay, an actor says this character does this and this. I don't know if that's the case, but he could be lying. I don't know. Misdirection. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever see Batman on the show. But if this Titans Batman kills, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Why can't he just be brutal? Like, why can't he just be brutal and not kill anybody? and that's why Dick Grayson leaves, but whatever. But yeah, Titans so far, it's fine. It's not bad. And the whole look, I wasn't going to judge Starfire's look based off of what we've seen until I saw the show, because I've 100% sure was like, that's not her costume or whatever. There's no way that's her costume. And sure enough, when you see the first episode and when we get to Starfire, it was what I was saying. You know, you got to have context first. So it's not her official look. You know, it's not her official look, which I kind of put two and two together. But yeah, I like that it revolves around Raven, Rachel Roth. I love that it revolves around here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more episodes. Like I said, the first episode was fine. It was alright. Kind of went by pretty quickly, but whatever. Alrighty. Last thing I want to talk about is Venom. Alrighty. You know, I wanted to have Brittany on because she was one of the many who thought this movie wasn't bad. Alright. Yes, I'm saying it now. I think Venom is a terrible movie. I'm sorry, but I think it just is. And seeing those who liked it is very bizarre to me. Like, okay, most things, like with most movies, well, almost all movies, I can understand why people would love it. Although I will say, I still can't see why there are some people out there to this day that say Batman v Superman is a masterpiece. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I mean, it has its moments, but other times it's like, yeah, it's not a masterpiece, but I think it's fine. I liked it, but definitely not the Batman vs Superman movie I would have wanted, but whatever. But yeah, so yeah, people can like what they like. That's fine and all, but with Venom, I cannot see why people love this movie. Not like this movie, but love this movie. I can understand if you like the movie, but for someone to love this movie, I do not understand. I really don't. And I'll basically read what I wrote on Facebook. And I think it's because I said it best. And I remember, and I'll just say, I'm just glad I didn't have to pay for this movie. I'm so glad I didn't have to. So this is what I said on my Facebook. I just saw Venom. It's fine. Definitely one of those movies you could watch on TV if you have the time, or if you just want to have it on as background noise. Venom looked great, and he was well written, and Eddie Brock as well. But everything else boring. The side characters, boring. Story, still boring. Villain, generic. And it's not all that entertaining. Oh, and even if this movie were R-rated, I don't think it would have been better. As far as in post-credit scenes, I'm sorry, but that first one was cringy. Second one, though, which was a 5-minute scene of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, I really can't wait for that movie. So yeah, okay, little spoilers. I guess I'll just talk spoilers just in case anyone gets up in arms about it. Post-credit scene, cringy. It's Woody Harrelson as Cleese Cassidy, and he's got this really weird red wig on. Like, you could tell it's a bad wig. And he just goes, you know, when I get out of here, there's going to be carnage. And it's just like, oh no. Like, yeah, it could have been, you could have had a different line than that. And yeah, I don't know. It was just cringy. I couldn't stand it. I was like, yeah, if this movie gets a sequel, which it will, it probably will, because this movie made $80 million opening weekend, which blows my mind. I'm just going to say curiosity is why it made that much money. But yeah, if it gets a sequel, you gotta do better than this. Like, this movie was something else. So yeah, the side characters. You didn't really care for them. The love interest for sure. You could tell the performance was just like, the phrase, she was just doing it for the paycheck, really did feel like that was basically why she was in this movie. She just did it for the paycheck, and it shows in her performance. And yeah, I could have cared less. I mean, we did get She-Venom with her, Michelle Williams. And also, she's kind of a bitch if you really think about it. I mean, in the movie, she's... okay, so Eddie Brock is a reporter, and then Michelle Williams is working for the main villain at his corporate, and Eddie Brock looks at her confidential files that she's gotten, and goes and interview the villain or whatever, and talks it all out, and she gets fired. And they're engaged too, which is like, okay. And then she's like, I'm done. You ruined my life. Blah, blah, blah. Bye, Eddie. I was like, well, okay, that was quick. Like, I get it. She was his rock. Like, she was his inspiration. Like, his drive to, his motivation, all this business. But I didn't feel that chemistry. I didn't feel that these two were actually a couple. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. And yeah, the side characters, there's not many. There's only the love interest and her new boyfriend, which is like, I think he was the only interesting side character, I guess, because he wasn't a dick towards Eddie Brock or anything. But yeah, man, the story, excuse me, story was just like, alright, he's got the symbiote, and then here's Riot, and Riot wants to bring more symbiotes down to Earth, and that's it. And I was like, okay, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. Like, the story can be boring, but you gotta entertain me. And that's the problem with this movie. This movie did not entertain me at all. Like, I mean, granted, when we first see Venom, and when Eddie Brock, the symbiote, takes over, and we see Venom for the first time, was great. Because at one point, it's from the scene from that trailer where he's like, eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks to eat, and blah, blah, blah. I cannot remember. I can't believe I remembered most of that quote. But, he's talking to this guy ready to eat him, and someone shoots him in the back, and then he turns over real quick and bites his head off. And I was like, holy shit. But yeah, that was the, only thing that was entertaining. And, like I said, I think the best part was, they wrote Eddie and Venom well. They got it right. I think they got it right with that character. He's just in a shitty movie. And, yeah. So, Riot's in here, and I'll be honest, the CGI looked good. The symbiotes, they look great. They look great. They did good. They did good, but everything else is just like, it's a no from me. And the villain, not all, like I said, Riot is not engaging, nor is the guy. I have no idea what the villain character's name is. I don't remember at all. I don't get it. But yeah, entertaining is what I could say about this. That really lacks it for me. I was not entertained. I was just like, okay, yeah, so this happened. And by the time the movie was over, it was like, well, that was quick. That was definitely quick. And apparently there's reports going out. There's a report of that this movie had 40 minutes of it was cut out, which was like, okay. I mean, look, I was already lost and not entertained by this movie at all, so I don't really care that this movie lost 40 minutes of it. And I'll be honest, I wasn't all that enthusiastic to go see Venom, but luckily for me, I didn't have to pay for my ticket. So, yeah, I'm just glad I didn't have to pay for it because, my God. And the tickets were like $7. And I was like, even for $7, I probably still would have been pissed about it. But yeah, like I said, the best way I could describe this movie is it's a movie you have on TV or as background noise. Like, you don't really have to pay attention to it. There's nothing that'll, at least for me, nothing that'll like attract you to this movie. And it's just, I don't get it. And yeah, that R-rated, where I said, you know, even if it were R-rated, I don't think it would have been better. I'm dead serious when I say that. Like, okay, let's go with if this was rated R. You know, he's ripping heads off. You see all this blood and all this business, all this violence. Yeah, maybe that would have been cool, but I don't know. But I think overall, so it's rated R. You know, who knows what the rated R version would have been like if it was supposed to be a horror, more of a horror kind of movie or whatever. If that was the case, you know, if that was the case, then okay, I think it might have been better. But if it was just rated R just for the sake of, you know, the action and whatnot, yeah, that wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed my mind at all. It really wouldn't have, because it's just like, it's just not entertaining. Like, and I'm a guy who loves action movies, but, you know, you gotta keep me entertained with everything else as well. Like, action is entertaining, yes, but it's about what's around the action, what it means and all this business, but I just cannot get on board. Like, you could totally feel this was a movie that maybe should have came out in the mid-2000s, you know? It definitely feels like one of those movies, and I'll be honest, call me crazy, but I'll just put it out there. I feel like this is the worst comic book movie of this decade. Yes, more so than the 2014's Fantastic Four. Because at least in that movie, the first half I really dug. It's until afterwards is where it completely falls off for me. But yeah, that first half of Fantastic Four I thought was great. But yeah, and it's even worse than, you know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I would say, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of felt like Batman Forever for me with the whole Electro thing. But yeah, it's worse than that. Yeah, because it lacks the entertainment for me at least. But yeah, I really wish maybe next episode I'll have Brittany come on, and I'll ask her, okay, Brittany, convince me of why Venom is not as bad as I'm making it out to be. Because yeah, because I remember, you know, Brittany said she, from her social media, she said it wasn't as bad as everyone is making it out to be. I think it is. I really think it is, because it's just like, there are moments in this movie I don't understand. Like, the whole, okay, so when Eddie gets the symbiote, when he first gets the symbiote is hungry. It needs something to feed on. And he's going through the garbage and all this business, eating all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, okay, yep, that's not bad. But when it kept going with it, like he's hungry and all this business, it's just like, oh my God. And then there's a point in the movie where he's at a restaurant, he's trying to show the pictures, Eddie Brock basically breaks into the facility because he's got a friend who's homeless or whatever. Like, there's a homeless person we meet in the movie, and Eddie Brock knows her or whatever, and she gets taken, and she gets put into the experiments of the symbiote, and he tries to break her out, while he's doing this, he's taking pictures of the facility the main villain is taking the homeless people and using them as experiments for the symbiotes, and tries to break her out. She breaks out, he gets the symbiote, and he's hungry, and so he has these photos, and he goes to his ex-fiancée, and she's on a dinner date with his friend, her boyfriend, and he's like, you gotta see this, and then he jumps up because he starts eating other people's food. The symbiote needs food, and there's this tank of lobster. So it's a fancy restaurant, and he basically sits in the tub of lobster, and it's just like this feels like that it was so cartoony to me, and it just really pulled me out, and I was like, I don't like this. And he's eating the live lobster, and it's just like, oh my god. So yeah, I don't know. This movie, like I said, I think it's the worst comic book movie of this decade. And if there's going to be a sequel to this, which I'm pretty sure there is going to be another sequel to this, because it made $80 million that opening weekend on a $100 million budget. I mean, good on them, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you guys are just ugh. And again, if you like the movie, great. But if you love the movie, I don't see it. I really don't see it. Convince me otherwise. Please do try and convince me why you love this movie. Like, tell me why you love this movie other than, the Venom character. And yeah, because other than that, this movie is garbage. Oh my lord. I'm just glad it was a quick, fast movie. And yeah. So yeah, luckily for me, like I said, I didn't have to pay for my ticket. But yeah, Venom. Would I recommend it? Hell no. If you catch it on TV, good. I think that's the best way you could probably enjoy the movie, because you don't have to pay attention to that movie as much. But whatever. So yeah, that's everything I got. I mean, there was a lot more I could have talked about, but I just, I kind of, I'll be honest, I just wanted to not talk about a lot of things, because I want to read, I'm reading Sandman. I'm still reading Sandman. I'm almost done with it. I got 2 volumes left, and yeah, I just want to read Sandman, and, next episode, hopefully soon, I will have Brittany on, because she's seen a movie, and I've seen, well, not only just to talk about Venom, but I was thinking we could talk about Bad Times at the El Royale, because I saw it last night, and yeah, that movie. I won't get into it. I think I want to talk it with Brittany, and then also Halloween, the new Halloween movie. I can't wait for the new Halloween movie, guys. I mean, when it comes to horror, I love serial killer movies. I don't do supernatural things, because it's just like it's too easy to make supernatural kind of deal movies or whatever. I think what's more scarier is that, a serial killer is more scarier than supernatural things, because you could actually run into a serial killer more so than supernatural things. But whatever. Anyway, so that's this episode for today. So, yeah, what's my phrase? Oh. So so that's Spoiler Appetite for this week. I'm Tristan, and you've just been spoiled.